Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is TDT, the developing trader, coming back at you again with the midweek check in. So, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are getting back into it, trying to get back into a nice flow here. Let's talk about what has transpired since our weekly analysis and projections. We're going to start off with the US dollar in Dixie. And when we did the weekly analysis, I told you we will be seeing the strength that dollar is going to have if it's going to be able to get up to the midpoint of this gap here on the weekly basis. You can see we have a lot of consolidation in here from March. March has been all consolidation after this first run up, taking that liquidity. It's just kind of back and forth in here, not really expanding in either direction. So I want you to take a look at the small little inefficiency here that we have on our weekly chart, and you can see price is really respecting the midpoint of that right now. You see it taps it, and this week it just takes the liquidity on the high side, takes the buy side, and then it dives back in. A lot of gaps in here. I want to see if we get below this area here, or do these gaps hold dollar and give us another run up. It do seems that US dollar is showing a lot of strength, so we want to see if it can continue to push up. You can't see that there, that's right at the top of that gap, but we'll see if it has enough strength to get up to this liquidity above, or will we continue to roll over here. So on Monday, we had just price come up, take the liquidity above these zones here that I marked out on the weekly projections. And then Tuesday, it swipes it one more time, and then it gives up the ghost, and we got these bearish price action, but a weekly consolidation. So right now, we're going to monitor where price closes at in the next hour, see if it stays here or does it pull back up into this gap, which in my mind would indicate that it may have strength and it may want to continue going up. Keep in mind that we do have NFP this week, so we expect price to be a little scratchy until that news release. There are a lot of inversion gaps here, and it's just really muddy price, so we want to wait. Some people choose not to trade during this week, and this is kind of why. Are there trades? There are always trades, but if you want trades that really expand, you have to wait until you get in those conditions. So right now it's really muddy. We're waiting to see what it wants to do. The only thing it has done this week is take that liquidity, unable to get to the equilibrium or the consequent encroachment of these gaps. So it's just playing in the mud right now, honestly. So let's see if we can get below here, or if today, if it can expand a bit, close in here, which will give me a little more. It's going to be tough because when you look at it, it also has closed this gap right in here. And whenever this does, I'm sorry, I'm tongue tying today. Whenever this day does decide to close, it will also leave another gap on the downside. So we'll see what that signals for the rest of the week in US dollar. And we'll see mostly what happens, because price structure can break on an NFP release, and none of these gaps will matter during that time. Manual intervention. So we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and jump into NQ real quick. And just like I was telling you guys earlier in the week, we're probably gonna have price come back in and wants to kind of balance all of this very illiquid price that I was telling you about over the weekend on Sunday. So it came through, took those equal lows, and just like dollar, you see it just on Monday it comes down, Tuesday swipes that liquidity, and then we move back up into all of these wicks, all of this illiquid price that we'll probably want to balance out for the rest of the week here. So what I'm thinking is price moves into this area going into Thursday. I want to see if it maintains any strength, if it wants to get up into these higher gaps that we're seeing here in price where there are no bodies. And then I'm expecting another drive lower into that final liquidity that we were looking for a couple of weeks now. So It's still very tough. You have to understand that price is doing this consolidation thing a lot this year, where it goes take some liquidity and then it reverts back into the internal liquidity, and then it gives you another drive. So that's what you're kind of witnessing here, as expected. So going into Thursday, I want to see if this gap that we're looking at holds. So in a couple of minutes, price will open. I want to see where that opening is, and if it wants to respect this gap, or does it want to move into these gaps and create yet another wick, or will it give us a close in this area before that NFP on Friday? So that's what we're looking for the end of this week. And like I was telling you guys, I'm only going to do NQ moving forward. I am considering doing some live trading starting not next week, but week after next. I have a couple of indicators that I use on an intraday basis, and I was going to showcase those indicators and just do some demo trading. Maybe I'll take a challenge, and I'll stream that from, I'm thinking 6 in the morning until 9 a.m. Normally after that time, I have to get going with my business that I own. So let me know what you guys think. If you think you'll be interested in sitting in on some of those live trading sessions, trading demo, but live streaming, let me know, guys. But that's going to be me for this week. Hope you guys are having a great one. Hope you're having a blessed week. Hope you're protecting your capital. Always remember to stay focused on your system, your strategy, and be disciplined in your approach. And like I always say, don't let these markets get you frizzled. You get what I'm saying? So y'all have a blessed one. I'll see y'all on the weekend with the weekly projections. Right now, we want to see if price can get through this inversion gap here. You can see we also got, that is not a breaker. But if you go down on a lower chart, you will see that because this did take this external liquidity, this here is definitely a breaker that we're seeing here, where price goes from here all the way to this new high here, comes back in. So I'm seeing this price as a lot of resistance. You can see we had a lot of consolidation in there as well, but look at how once we entered that area, the bodies respect that area. So I want to see if price continues to respect this area as we go into tomorrow, and then if we'll get another drive. Okay, so it can still happen that price wants to go a little deeper into this, and when I say go a little deeper, I'm not expecting price, even though I could be wrong, I'm not expecting price to break above this zone right here. Okay, I know that we do have some other gaps that are much higher above, like in this area. I do believe these were all balanced in this price action as it went up, came back below, came back into the midpoint, and then we had this drive lower. So I'm considering that area that it won't need to return back in there, but it may want to come into this zone up to about, that's 24950. Okay, so that's what we're looking for this week. And you guys have a good one. I appreciate y'all checking out the video. This is TDT out. Peace.